Hi, I'm Uncle Scott from the Speakeasy Bakery. Today we're going to show you how to make French baguettes. 4 ingredients: flour, water, salt, and yeast. So we've got some bread flour here. It's got a high gluten, which helps with the bread rise. We're going to measure out 454 grams. A teaspoon and a half of salt, and a teaspoon and a half of instant yeast. And then we want to measure out 320 grams of 70-degree bottled water. So mix the dry ingredients, then go ahead and add the water and give it a hand mix, just to get it enough together so that when you turn on the mixer, your flour won't go flying around. On a KitchenAid, we're going to give it 5 minutes at the lowest setting, and then another 2 to 4 minutes, depending upon how it's looking to us, on the next setting up. Okay, so the dough's been going for just about 7 minutes total. I'm going to get it out on the counter. So what we want to do here is give it one last sort of an envelope fold. So stretch it out a little. You can add a little bit of flour if it's real sticky. Right now it's kind of a little bit sticky. So we're going to give it just a touch around the edges, not even actually on the dough. And then we're going to give it that envelope fold. So one over that way, one over that way, and then come back over the top, and then shape it into a more or less spherical bowl. And we're going to let that rise for about an hour. It should more or less double in size. And then we'll go to the next step, which is shaping. Okay, it's been about an hour, so we got a pretty good rise. Stuck a little bit, so you can just scrape that down. No problem there. Now, we're going to get this out onto the counter. Okay. So we're going to give it into 3 approximately equal pieces. You can weigh it if you like, if you want to be, get them real uniform, you can do that. Once we shape it, we're going to put it into this linen cloth. It's been embedded with flour so it won't stick, and we're going to use that for the final proof. So we're going to take the baguette and we're going to come over once, pat it down. You want to knock a little bit of the gas that's developed out of it. I'm going to come over again, tap it down, and then one last time. If it starts to stick, just use your bench knife. Don't be afraid. Okay, now we want to roll it. And you want to give it nice even pressure from the center to the sides. Try to get it to a nice even shape all the way down, consistent. Now, the trick is to get it without sticking over to the couche. So just in a very quick motion, tuck and roll and carry over. If it gets a little bit misshapen, you can just fix it up. Then give it a ridge here. It'll separate us from the next one. Move on to your next one. And once again, over once, over again, knock the gas out, and over one last time. This is the part that everybody's afraid of because it sticks. You just got to work right through it. Once you get your shape, transfer it over, give it another ridge, and you're on to the last one. We're going to let that proof or rise for about 30 minutes, could be as much as 45. When we come back, we're going to give it the poke test, and that'll tell us whether it's ready or not to go in the oven. Okay, it's been about a half an hour. We're going to check on our baguettes and see if they're ready to go. If it's underproofed and you poke it, the dough bounces right back very quickly. If it's overproofed, it doesn't bounce back at all. Just right, you poke it and it bounces back slowly. So let's give it that test. We'll give it. So that's coming back slowly, so that's pretty good. That's going to work. All right, so the next step is to actually get it into the oven. I like to use parchment paper because it makes the transfer into the oven a little bit easier. Transfer each one over just as quickly as you can. If it gets a little misshapen, that's just rustic. So the last step before it goes into the oven is scoring. So the trick to scoring, I'm using a half straight razor blade. Basically what you want is a series of almost parallel slashes about a 1/4 inch thick with just a slight angle to it, and they should overlap each other. Okay, so we're ready to go in the oven here. Again, 450 degrees, it's pretty hot. So inside the oven, I've got what's called a hotel pan that I'm going to cover these with for the first 10 minutes or so. What that does is create a steamy environment and allows the bread to rise before the crust starts to form. So it inhibits the crust from forming, but it gives that nice little rise. We're going to take it off after about 10 minutes, and then the crust will start to turn brown. So here we go. Slide that in, put the hotel pan on, close her up. All right, so that's going to get 10 minutes with the hotel pan on and about another 10 minutes with the hotel pan off. If you want to, you can take the internal temperature. It should be somewhere between 195 and 205 degrees, and that's when it's done. Okay, we spent about 20 minutes total. We took the hotel pan off at 10, so we're going to go in and get those baguettes. Et voila, baguette. All right, so we're going to wait at least an hour. If you eat it too soon when it's still warm, it can upset your stomach, so you don't want to do that. Okay, it's been about an hour. It's time to eat. Let's grab our trusty bread knife. Let's pick that one and give it a nice angle cut. And we have some nice hole structure in there. Nice piece of baguette bread just for you. Find the recipe for this at thespeakeasybakery.com. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, we've got more on the way. And we can also be found on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.